Well, already tremendous action here, day 3 of the World Championships. We're right next door to Celtic Park, home of Celtic Football Club. Well, they need some congratulations too, making it into the Champions League group stages last night with that 8-4 aggregate win in Kazakhstan. But enough football, we've got plenty of badminton here. Coverage of the World Championships. What a match in the men's doubles. Asan Saputro knocking out the #1 seeds. We've got more men's doubles up next. The Olympic bronze medalists Marcus Ellis and Chris Langridge, they're up against the Austrians Stipsits and Zirnwald. Well, we'll be watching what happens in this particular section of the draw all day today. Go and Tan featured later against Korea. Right now we've got Ellis and Langridge. And, well, you can see there Asan Saputro making it through to round 3. They're going to face Christiansen and Dogor of Denmark. Such a tough half of the draw in the men's doubles. Well, what do you think, Steen? Can we expect another match of that high quality and of that amount of tension?
We can hope for it. I think it's pretty much up to the Austrians to get inspired by the Indonesians hosting the top seeds of the men's doubles discipline.
Yeah, these Austrians were looking good on day 1. We saw them come through their opening match. Very different proposition here today. Chris and Marcus from England have been in pretty good form of late. Let's get the players ready out on court for the all-important toss of the coin.
Who wants to call? Red or black?
Red.
Red. Your choice. Roman serving. Which side?
Marcus will turn.
That side? Okay, thank you.
Well, we heard it there. Roman Zirnwald will begin the match with the opening serve. The Austrians in white will start at the bottom of the screen, and Marcus Ellis will be returning serve for England. There is Marcus Ellis, the 27-year-old from Huddersfield in England. Currently ranked number 18 in the world. They've had a tremendous year. Bronze medalist in the Rio Olympics. Not too far past their career high of 14. That was earlier this year, late February. And he, of course, is back in action with Chris Langridge, the 32-year-old from Epsom in Surrey. Recent father of 2 twin babies, Chris Langridge. And they're up against the Austrians today. Dominik Stipsits, 22-year-old from Korneuburg in Austria. These last couple of weeks have been the peak of his career in men's doubles so far, that ranking of 64. With his partner, the more experienced Roman Zirnwald, 34 years of age, born in St. Pölten, Austria. He was looking good, in particular in round 1. They had a very confident-looking men's doubles match. Against the Australians, that was Leung and Weller. In less than half an hour coming through that particular match, 21-9, 21-11. Here's our umpire for today's men's doubles, Michael Fiery Dahl from Norway.
Ready to play.
He'll be supported in the service judge chair by Kelly Hoare of Australia. So players ready and waiting. You can see The anticipation. Zirnwald looking pumped up at this end of the court. Marcus Ellis doing a bit of shadow work himself. Let's see if they've both got that amount of energy left at the end of this match.
Ladies and gentlemen, on my right, Dominik Stipsits and Roman Zirnwald, Austria. And on my left, Marcus Ellis and Chris Langridge, England. Roman Zirnwald to serve to Marcus Ellis. Love all. Play.
So Zirnwald with the opening serve for the Austrians in the white shirts. Backhand cross block from Chris Langridge into the net. Great forehand cross drive from Marcus Ellis, regaining the attack for the English pair.
Service over. 1-all.
Marcus Ellis, Steen, I think perhaps might be a crucial factor in this match here today. He's one of the quickest players around the court, particularly mid to rear. If he has a good day, he's very difficult to play against.
Service over. 2-1.
The interesting thing is to see how the playing conditions affect Stipsits and Zirnwald, because I normally would think the English would have clearly better defense than the Austrians, but we saw how it helped the Indonesians in the previous game, where they beat the top-seeded Chinese pair, and let's see if it can help the Austrians as well. They had a very easy match in the first round against Wheeler and Leung, so up against a whole different opposition this time. Good rally, well played.
Yeah, the last two rallies ended with some tremendous shot making.
4-1. Chris?
And we saw also that in the previous match that it was a bit more difficult to play on the far side of the court, because it was really, really tough killing the attack.
Service over.
Got a little help on this side here, playing with the drift, coming from the near side of the court towards the far side. Some sideways drift, left to right as well. That's a really good smash from Roman Zirnwald.
Service over.
That cross smash on Chris Langridge. If you can hit it accurately there, then it's really, really tough for Chris Langridge to get it back into court in terms of side drift.
Great pick-up that time from Langridge, but it's not to be for England under some pressure from these two Austrians at this stage.
Yeah, and we have the same situation as with Saputro and Nassan against Lee and Liu, that Ellis and Langridge, they are playing the first match in this tournament. Whilst the Austrians have been in action.
Service over.
Yeah, absolutely. The Austrians did start the tournament with a comfortable win in round one over the Australian pair. He'll be a little more used to conditions out here. Exactly the same course as well.
4-6.
Well, good serve, but also a good return of serve. Backhand from Langridge.
Service over.
Wide of the tram lines.
7-5.
Clearly the preferred position for the English double. Chris Langridge on the front court and Marcus Ellis working around him on the back court and mid court area. The opponents know that as well, and possibly be trying to switch them around. It's going long.
Oh, some indecision from the line judge. We'll see. Another challenge, will we?
Challenge.
And I actually think that the challenge was because of the indecision.
I agree. I think Langridge looked at the line judge, suspected she was undecided for a moment, and perhaps convinced him to take that decision to make a challenge.
Zirnwald is keeping the shuttle. He was in a good position. He saw that it was out.
Challenge unsuccessful.
The last time I saw a challenge from Chris Langridge, he won an Olympic bronze medal.
Service over.
Challenging his own serve. That was on the line, giving the English side a very well served, but also surprising Olympic bronze medal.
Yeah, absolutely. They had perhaps the performance of their life that day. Chai Biao and Hong Wei, well, not necessarily underestimated the English pair, but that lead.
Oi, what a fantastic save.
Zirnwald on the floor, gets a forehand to that blocked drive.
Yeah, that was an amazing shot.
Incredible. Yeah, Ellis and Langridge in that final, that playoff match rather, for the bronze medal.
But that's also one of the challenges for Langridge and Ellis going forward, in my opinion. How do they look at their Olympic bronze medal? Do they look at it as that was the time of our lives and we were a bit lucky, the sun was shining our way and so on? Or do they look at it as, oh, now we're finally reaching the good level? Because if you see it as a lucky punch, so to speak, then you might accept your level of play, and that would be a pity if that was the case, because they should of course build on that and say that, hey, when we play well, we can definitely challenge the best in the world, and when we've got the right conditions. I actually think the conditions here are good for Ellis and Langridge. It's going to help their defense a little bit again, like was the case in Rio.
Yeah, I agree, Steen, and I think more so perhaps in the second game we might see a lot more success from the English pair in that defence, whilst the Austrians are hitting into the drift.
Is it okay? Play with it.
return of serve from Stipsits. Immediately gives the attack to the Austrians, and what a smash from Zirnwald straight down the line.
11-9 interval.
Well, it's the Austrians with the lead, mid-game interval, 11-9 in front.
Wenn beide einen Aufschlag machen, gerade Langridge, dann kommt es sehr, sehr fein. Wir brauchen die frühen Treffpunkte. Wir müssen den wir müssen den verhandeln.
Get up the court level more. It's quite passive for me. Yeah. So when we're lifting, get into it, push it up there, and then step up.
Yeah.
Court 1, 20 seconds. Court 1, 20 seconds. Yes, change it, please.
So what was Peter Jeffrey telling us there then, Steen?
Yeah, something about not being passive and stepping it up a little bit. I think stepping forward, he meant, especially in the defense, as far as I was able to interpret the abbreviations. And Oliver Pongratz, the Austrian coach, former German top player Pongratz, he said something about the services, the service situation.
12-9.
Where to reach service returns. I was a little confused whether it was reach them high or let them drop a little bit, but I must confess that my
12.
German is not that good. So some might say it's actually lousy, my German.
Well, it's much better than mine.
I think that was one of the situations that Pete Jeffrey was referring to, where we can see Marcus Ellis is standing too far back.
Yeah, the opening points in this game.
And he can't really move because he's not in a good position. If the Austrians block it, he have to lift. And if they push and he's on the move, it's difficult to produce a good shot. That's well played.
That's much better down the middle of the court from Chris Langridge. Yeah, we saw the first few points in this game won by the Austrians when they had so much space in front of them. A little skill and then push into an open space. Effective for the Austrian pair. English really needs to step it up. Take that shuttle earlier. Good rotation from the English. Good choice of shots halfway through from Chris Langridge. That drive instead of a layoff, and it maintains a positive attack for the pair from England.
12-13.
Don't know about you, Steen, but I don't think we can take much out of this opening game. I think the second game is really going to show us what's happening out there, because the conditions are looking to be quite effective in this match, as with most of the matches we've seen.
Yeah, but as you said earlier, Bobby, I think the Austrians are going to struggle in the second game, so I feel it's a must-win first game for them in order to stay in the match.
14-12.
They've done excellently so far.
Service ball call.
Oh, struck above the waist. I thought I saw two movements towards the shuttle as well.
Service over. 13-14.
No. Definitely not two movements. Good courage. I think Ellis and Langridge are grinding their way back into this match. They were down 10-6 and now 14-all. Looks good for the English side, in my opinion.
smash from Marcus Ellis.
And I think the Austrians, they're not really clear about where they are lifting. They're lifting to the backhand side of, or to the left side from the English perspective, to the left side of the court to Marcus Ellis, and that's clearly the preferred starting point for the English's attack. Should the Austrians get crosses to the forehand side of Marcus Ellis, and Chris Langridge also covers the net well, so definitely advise to lift a bit more to the English pair's forehand side.
Service over.
To get some possibilities in their own defense.
15 all.
Yeah, pressure now firmly on the Austrians. The English with some momentum after taking more of the points since the mid-game interval. They're ahead now, 16-15.
Play.
Last time I commentated, and Marcus Ellis, Chris Langridge were
17-15.
featured Thailand Open, the SCG Open semi-final a couple months ago. They were desperate to get a good result in that event to give them enough ranking points to find a seeded draw here at the World Championships. So desperate, in fact, Steen, Chris Langridge's wife was due with twins that same day. He was trying to get home to witness the birth at the same time, trying to get as many ranking points as possible to make sure he was seeded in these World Championships.
Yeah.
A lot of sacrificing involved in this level of badminton.
Yeah, that depends a little bit how you look at it, because I know that the Danish pair, Mads Kolding and Mads Conrad, Mads Kolding's is pregnant and due on Monday, and they've decided that if she goes into labor, then Mads Kolding will travel back to Denmark and they will withdraw from the World Championships. Good work, excellent work by Ellis and Langridge.
Well, what a run of points since the mid-game interval. It's been all about the English pair. Great turnaround. Chris Langridge serving with game point. And there you see the English defence stepped up the court slightly as instructed by Peter Jeffrey in the break, and it was effective. They've come through the opener, particularly the second half of that game, a much better performance for the English.
First game won by Marcus Ellis and Chris Langridge, 21-15.
The score there just confirmed by our umpire. They take the opener, 21-15.
So, in general, we just started too slow, as we know. So we give them a lot of time, so they could play their shots and turn us, and we were committing late on things. And we get our speed higher and deny them the time. Everything becomes reactive on their side, and that's good.
I know we did start up here. They actually started quite well.
As soon as they went, but we give them all the options to do what they want, that's for sure. And we're lifting short into the wind for them.
When you went in the swing, it was like they gave up almost the rally, if you know what I mean. Like,
yeah. So I think the only thing I wanted you to commit more on is a cross defence. Like the last one we got in there and whipped it flat. Yeah. So when we're cross defender, we get a good lift. Don't sit back. Yeah. We get out there. You just commit and leave the puzzle around you. Yeah. Just deny them time. Get up the court. Be proactive. Yeah.
Nachgehen, klar sein. Okay? Macht ein richtig gutes Spiel. Also nur Kopf hängen lassen. Weiter. Okay? Komm.
Court 1, 20 seconds. Court 1, 20 seconds. Second game. Love all. Play.
So Marcus Ellis and Chris Langridge take the opener. Langridge with the serve to start this second game. The English boys in blue at the bottom of your screen now. Did you catch much of the advice, Steen, from the coaches during the mid-game interval?
Well, we heard mostly from Pete Jeffrey, and of course quite satisfied. What I noticed was this deny them the time and play as fast as possible to put a pressure on the Austrians pace-wise, Zirnwald and Stipsits, and I think generally that the English pair is normally a level about above Stipsits and Zirnwald, so they should be able to capitalize from this good start to the match.
1, 2.
Yeah, absolutely. I think when the Austrians have hurt the English so far, it's when there's been some gaps at the front of the court. If they can close those gaps by stepping up in defence, they should look more comfortable out here.
Shot.
Great smash down the middle. I heard Peter Jeffrey also talking about cross-defending, Steen. Why would you? Why would that be a benefit?
3, 1.
It depends a little bit where it is from, but definitely meant to be turning the defense around. In order to do that, you have to step forward in the defense. If you stand too far back, the shot will just go upwards all the time. To be able to make a flat cross shot. We saw the Indonesians very successful in their match previous to this match. So let's see if Ellis and Langridge can emulate that.
4-1.
I must say, I have a feeling that they'll win this second game fairly easy.
Well, a good start certainly for the English, despite that drive into the net, and also that point
4.
earlier, Chris Langridge leaving one return of serve that fell in. Those two cheap points for the Austrians, but otherwise, Ellis and Langridge looking well more comfortable, except those few minor errors. Yeah, great stuff. Marcus Ellis, that drop shot I thought looked a little slow. It gave the Austrians time to come back into the game, but Zirnwald defensive shot not perhaps having the effectiveness he wanted. Too easy in the end for Ellis. Short lift, Langridge couldn't quite put it away, but Ellis was aware enough to follow up.
7-3. Play.
Yeah, good direction on the smash. It brought Marcus Ellis into that rally. And The attack of the English is more effective, as you said, Steen, from this end of the court.
Ellis scoring points at will. Ellis and Langridge. Easy points.
9-3.
We don't have to work really, really hard, so looks to be a really good match for the Olympic bronze medalist here. It's going to be a really, really interesting quarter of men's doubles draw. That upper quarter there, where we lost the top seeds, Lee Junhui and Liu Chen to Saputra and Hassan.
Do you think the Danes that the Indonesians will need to play next, those Danes, Dugor and Christiansen, do you think they could trouble Hassan and Saputro?
It's difficult to say. Hassan has had often back problems, so let's hope that he can stay fit throughout the tournament here. The way he played, he was a pleasure to watch today.
Clever shot. Saw Zirnwald coming back into court to expect the lift.
Well played.
Yeah, well played, Austria, to maintain the attack.
Yeah, she is on the way. Marcus, this is okay? Okay, thank you. Sorry? Marcus receiving.
Well, never a particularly fast game in between points when it comes to Marcus Ellis and Chris Langridge. They do like to have a conversation between points and
Yeah,
reset.
say that. Sometimes before serving, Chris Langridge got a whole ritual to do before he launches his serve.
Yeah, that's right. I don't think Chris Langridge can start a point without at least 2 or 3 high fives with Marcus Ellis. There's one. Oh, that serve might have drifted wide of the court. Taking no chances, and good pressure from Ellis and Langridge.
11-6 interval.
Not quite the same sort of rallies we've seen so far earlier today in men's doubles from the China versus Indonesia match, but it's Ellis and Langridge that are doing the job so far. 11-6 up in the break.
Yeah, so you're hitting one and ducking out. And he knows exactly what you're going for. Yeah. Looking really sharp now. It's good. Following up after your rear quarter to the mid's good.
I think we lost a good stretch for 2 points.
Yeah.
Just not that.
I think he's definitely jumping the low serve. Serve short.
20 seconds. 20 seconds. On court, please. Six. Play.
So the Austrian Stipsits and Zirnwald with everything to do now to stay in this tournament. The momentum firmly with the pair from England. The Olympic bronze medalists Marcus Ellis, Chris Langridge, fully taking control of this second round match.
12-6.
For example, where we saw Stipsits a little bit too content to lift from the front court, and I think you have to be really careful doing that the alternates, because this is at the back court. We've seen him to be very powerful.
13-6.
Well, frustration there from Stipsits. He had chances to put away that rally. Langridge didn't seem able to turn the defense away from him, but
look at Langridge's reaction. He was a bit frustrated. I mean, well, you won the point. But sometimes you feel that, hey, this is not going to hold up if you play better opposition. So constantly reviewing your own game in real time, so to speak, can sometimes be necessary in order to reach a high enough level. Also very dangerous though in terms of playing with your own self-confidence.
well, what a rally there. Sorry, Steen, turning that cross block so tight across the net to regain the attack from England.
15-7.
Yeah, I agree with you, Steen. Dangerous sometimes. You just have to do the job you're there to do. It's hard to raise your level to one that might be needed against tougher opposition when you're not actually in that situation right now. There's that cross block again from Marcus Ellis. The whole court to aim at. Great finish.
Back on court, please. Dominik. (16-7).
Fantastic defense. Chris Langridge lifting the first one cross so that the second might be less dangerous. Even then, Steen, he seemed not entirely pleased with his defense.
17-7.
It's the first match here, and timing is not perfect when you play first match in a new stadium under circumstances.
Wow, incredible speed of movement. Marcus Ellis, look how quickly he used his feet to get that round the head. Perfect footwork, perfect cross-court smash. Well, dangerous from Langridge. I thought the cross court was open. He went straight again, and perhaps regretting that one choice of defensive shot.
9-18.
A couple of consolation points for Stipsits and Zirnwald. What they had to do yesterday against the Australian pair and played a really good first game up to 15-all.
19-10.
Well, the second half of this second game proving to be something of a formality, it seems, for Marcus Ellis, Chris Langridge of England. And Marcus Ellis now serving with 10 match points to take a place into round 3. In decision from the Austrians, the court open. Oh, the English just choosing to keep the rally going a moment longer. Great net spin, Chris Langridge half court. And with Stipsits on the floor, half the court open for Chris Langridge to play the winning shot. Smiles all round, even for the umpire. A great performance for Chris Langridge and Marcus Ellis of England. They take their place into round 3. Confirmation of that score.
Chris Langridge 21-15, 21-10.
15 and 10 as confirmed by our umpire. Well, as Steen said earlier, this particular section of the draw, a really tense affair. The world #1's now out, Saputro and Asan of Indonesia, through to face Dugor and Christiansen of Denmark. Later on today, we'll see whether the Malaysians Go and Tan can also come through to face this English pair in round 3. Let's take a look at some of the action from that men's doubles. So World Championships badminton action at the Emirates Arena here in Glasgow. Day 3, and we've seen some incredible men's doubles action so far. English doubles pair of Chris Langridge, Marcus Ellis just come through. We've got more English doubles up next. This time, women's doubles with Lauren Smith and Sarah Walker. They're up against the #5 seeds from Korea, Jung Kyung-eun and Shin Seung-chan. Let's take a quick look at this particular section of the women's doubles draw. Well, it's fairly open. Chen Qing-chen and Ye Yifan in the very top there. The #4 seed looking strong recently, but down at the bottom. Frugor and Fusen from Denmark in that bottom half as well. Might be facing the winner of this particular match in round 3. Oh, big smiles from the English pair, Lauren Smith, Sarah Walker, as they walk out to court. A huge occasion for them. World Championships round 2, they're up against some pretty fierce